should we begin to draw a line to know who to celebrate and who not to celebrate? Because usually in a society where you think that people are a bit more informed, they understand you, they love you, they respect you, but because of the circumstances around surrounding what led to your incarceration in the first place, there's a way they'll come and greet you, and they'll greet you in a more calmer or more quiet way, because they don't want to make noise about it. However, in this community, they didn't care. I don't care if he has armed robber, I don't care if he has gone to 20 years in jail. We are celebrating him because he is one of our own. So is that a problem in itself? Should we blame the people for celebrating? The same thing happened when that guy, the kidnapper, is it Wadumi? If you recall, the way his people celebrated him. And we were like, this is a man that was a kidnapper. I said, I know, but he built schools, he built boreholes. We know him. We don't want to know what people said he has done. To us, he's our hero. So the conversation is, how as a people do we celebrate these kind of people? Must we draw that line that they're criminal, you're criminal, they don't deserve that kind of celebration?
You see, that's my point. That's what is confusing me, because where did the lines get blurred? Where did celebrating a criminal become the norm? And it's not today that it started. Yes. It's been
forever.
Not forever. In the last maybe 30 years, because we have forgotten that, you know, there was a time, if you are a criminal, you will hide your face. If you are a criminal now, you stand, whether a political criminal or a criminal.
Now they say if you don't get money, hide your face.
So you clean up with money if you're a criminal.
People are now, you know, having money. It makes you
standard.
A teen god.
Yeah.
If you are a law-abiding citizen and you have no money, you are nothing. So someone like, I will give my uncle as an example. My uncle was a very upright citizen. He did his work well, and till today is known for his work. When he was the health minister, they knew him as health minister. That man did not die a rich man. So that man, you will say, because he didn't die a rich man.
Yes.
I'm talking about Ekweremadu. Yes. Prof.
Yes.
He did not die a rich man, but he was excellent in his work. Yeah. There are children who he has treated, who are adults today. My sister was one of them. He was a fantastic pediatrician. Fantastic. Ask all the medical students who went through him. But he died a poor man. He was not a rich man. He was okay. He wasn't dead poor.
He wasn't
but
poor,
are you telling me that because he wasn't a criminal and amassing wealth, he was not a...
That's the point. So, he wasn't poor. He just didn't amass wealth.
So we are celebrating. I know a place where the known kidnapper went to this place. I saw it. They didn't tell me. I saw it. If you see how everybody was bowing on the floor and greeting him and hailing him, because he had money to spend. So we have blurred the lines. You have to take this caller. Please, let me just land. Sorry, caller. So I think this thing, I noticed it with Bode George. When Bode George went to jail, the celebration they did to the church, the person that jailed him, Obasanjo, was still in the church too. This is how I was looking at the TV that day. Take your call.
Ogechi is holding for a while. Good morning, Ogechi.
Sorry, Ogechi.
Ogechi. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ogechi. You're live. Go ahead, please.
First caller.
First time caller?
Yes.
Welcome to the
show. I love your program.
Thank you.
I listen to this program every morning before I go out or in my shop.
Oh, thank you.
Coming to your topic this morning, the Ekweremadu, I think, to my own view, the money they feel they have is making them feel not accepted, like feeling no shame again. They were in cell, both of them, right? What the children they are fighting for keep doing is not really what, like, any other man, any other person.
I can't hear you, Ogechi.
They were there, the son had a good marriage. And they are back. And they keep celebrating. What are they celebrating? Celebrating the anniversary.
Yeah.
As in celebrating what?
Okay, Chi, I didn't hear anything you said. Nima
They're
said she tried to
celebrating
be.
because of money. It's the money that has made them, made people around them like this. And she thinks that what they're doing is
We'll be wrapping up on this. Yeah.
So, somebody has responded that he practices in the UK. This UK Lord, now, wow, I will go collect degree there. He says, yeah, I'll go back and study there. He says, that's not true, that it is illegal, surrogacy is illegal in the UK. That's Uche Obiwe. He says, surrogacy is not illegal in the UK. It just has to be altruistic and not for payment. Oh. You are not allowed to pay reasonable inconvenience costs. You are only allowed to pay reasonable inconvenience costs for the surrogate. I am a lawyer practicing in the UK.
So as technology advances,
I
we'll definitely have new laws, because many years ago, nobody knew you could actually do an organ. 50 years ago, there wasn't organ transplanting, or people thinking that, oh, I can actually use somebody else's organ to function in somebody else's body. But as technology is advancing, realizing that you can actually do these things. So more laws have to be created and renewed and reversed just to ensure that it meets the current state of things in our society. So the issue of surrogacy is one of them. The issue of organ in our law right now is saying that you cannot collect money for it. Although some people, because of our economic situation, people are offering.
They are closing
say,
eye.
I don't mind. I'll give you my kidney, I'll give you my liver. Just give me.
The enforcers of the law are also closing eye that he desperately needs it. That money part, because we will see there are many laws in this country that exist on the in paper alone that are not enforced. And that's why we must look at things that work with our society. Because I'm wondering, why would this be more popular than, what the law says, what the book says? But Auntie Yeni said something. We will celebrate the politicians because the politicians have deliberately kept some people in the level of intellect that they are. Because I won't say education, because it's not all wisdom you get from school. My son was saying, Mommy, this boy is wise, he's wise. I said, is he brilliant? He said, no, I mean he's wise. So I'm willing to see
the difference.
The difference. People who are in that bracket would celebrate things they don't want to see it any other way.
Yeah.
The Wadume case, for instance, Wadume is a Robin Hood in his community.
Yeah.
People who died for him, the justice for them died with him. Died in that case. Our country, our people as a country, the charge sheets did not read murder. And so he was released. He went back, even they killed 3 police officers in that escape, and he went back to his people. And of course, you see the way we use our hand to taint things and cover things up. Under this country till date, nobody has now gone to rearrest him, to charge him for not just for the escape, but for the death of those 3 officers.
We're going to be wrapping up on this Ekweremadu story. I know Mariam wanted to jump in.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say the importance of, making sure that we enact policies that protect the vulnerable, especially when it comes to organ donation or organ trafficking, that's on the harmful side. Because one thing with human beings is that we are very selfish and we look for different ways to serve ourselves at the cost of another person's life. We don't care as long as we're okay. And so the policies is supposed to make sure that every Nigerian is protected. So it would not matter if you have money or you don't. When we don't do that, when we say it's okay to buy or sell organs, it would mean that in situations where poor people are ill, they may not get organs because they can't afford it. So it's not only about when you need it, how about for when the poor person needs it? And they cannot afford to buy it from someone. Or if it's something that we allow and then we say to a poor person, if you cannot pay, sell your organ. Do you understand? So these are the dangers that will happen if we don't enforce the laws that we have and we don't highlight stories where it seems like we're celebrating bad criminal behavior. And for me, that's why this conversation is important. You can have your private celebration and thank God in your homes, but please do not highlight it. For me, that in itself is another danger.
Let me take Odoayo. Good morning, Odoayo. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning. This is
Morning, sir.
I think my contribution on this is that we should stop celebrating all these politicians, all these rich men, when they are doing something bad. Because when it's something concerning, they to find somebody that is invested.
That's why we need 50% tariff. So that they can fix their infrastructure. Let me take Otumba Karim. He says that, good morning, ladies. Ours is a nation that revels in celebration, often blurring the lines between virtue and vice. We have witnessed politicians embezzle funds with impunity, leaving us questioning what's reasonable and what's not. This moral ambiguity has become a defining characteristic of our society, making it challenging to discern right from wrong. Any other comment?
I was going to say that there's a good thing out of all of this that has happened, because it is difficult to find people in the class of the Ekweremadus, being used as a standard for things like this. I know that for a fact. Apart from the two of them not ever going to try, no middle class person will think this is possible anymore. The people who think that their doctors should be in the UK, in the US and Canada, while they live here, work here, in the system that they don't grow, who would think that my own daughter is safe in the general hospital abroad under the what they call the health insurance scheme abroad, and they're doing fine. It really doesn't concern me. I'm just a senator. What can only me do who live here? So when you find such a person used as the scapegoat in a case like this becomes the standard. This is a precedent that will not easily be forgotten. Just, see now, Auntie Yeni was dropping Bode George's name. And it's difficult to find people in that class who get convicted for any crime. Yeah. See what is happening in Kogi State, for instance. Even Delta State then, they did not agree that their money was missing under Ibori. Even though Ibori served jail term for it and entered into, a plea bargain in the UK for it, the Delta people did not agree. It's until the money returned that they said, it's our money. It should not be with the federal government. When the money, if the money had not come to Buhari, their money wasn't lost. Like the Kogi people, when the money was returned, they now said it was their money. That, the Delta State should get the money. So,
Kogi people,
their money
when Yaya Bello was released after 3 days, did you see the ceremony on the streets?
Yeah.
Did you see? I mean, he's still innocent because he has not been convicted.
But even he sang on the balcony of his house, he danced.
These are all political tools that use. I mean, they're intentional on how to get the people to contribute loyal to you.
But
the
people need to understand that they have to decide to stop being tools.
I just want to read this
final
message. Good morning, Auntie Waiki. You are very correct. Professor Kuti led the team that operated on my brother as a child at Louvre, as told by our parents. That same boy will be 60 in June.
Wow.
Thanks to the dedicated team led by your uncle. But he's not celebrated.
Yes.
And he in fact, it was family and friends that buried him.
Yeah.
If it was a criminal now,
the whole state burial.
Yes.
State burial. Ushe, you have got it.
State burial. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, move on to our next topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.